Good morning. I am 3 minutes earlier today. As always, if you're watching in recording, you're welcome to fast forward or stay with us through our hellos. As you can see, I'm outside, so I'm not at my computer now. Can't tag anybody. But after the practice, when I come back home, I'll tag everybody, the usual suspects. And for now, I just hope you make your way here. Good morning, Yanni. Are you still in Belize? We were promised snow today, but it doesn't look like it's going to snow. Unfortunately, this little park where I usually go to the pond to do the meditation, unfortunately, it's closed for some renovations until March. So we'll have to be somewhere here. Good morning, Gina. So let me set that. Good morning, Sandra. Oh, Yani, you are in Chetumal. I see. I guess you didn't make it to Belize. But I'm glad you're loving it. The pictures look beautiful. I thought it was Belize. Ay, this is not very comfortable for me. How do I do it? Well, just hope that my phone doesn't. I know. Give me 1 second. I'll put it here behind the bars. Creative solutions. So the phone is in the garden, even if I am not. All right, and it is time for us to start. Today, I would like to talk a bit about why we meditate, our motivation behind the practice, the purpose of the practice. The Buddha said, I teach only one thing, suffering and the cessation of suffering. Pema Chodron writes, generally, people don't find themselves sitting in the meditation posture unless they have something that's bothering them. And this promise of cessation of suffering is very appealing, right? But it is worth emphasizing that the Buddhist teachings are not only about removing the symptoms of suffering, they are actually about removing the cause or the root of suffering. According to the Buddha, the root of all suffering is in our mind. At the same time, the root of happiness is also in our mind. The ancient sage Shantideva offered this famous analogy for how we try to alleviate our suffering. He said that if your feet are hurting while you walk on earth, you might want to cover all the earth with hides of leather so that you'd never have to suffer from the pain of the ground again. But where could such an amount of leather be found? So rather, you could simply wrap a bit of leather around your feet and then it feels as if the whole world is covered with leather and you are always protected. In other words, you could try to stop your suffering by changing your outer circumstances, but that won't ever work because there will never be enough leather to cover the entire earth with, so to speak. And yet, this is our usual approach. We keep trying to solve our outer problems again and again and again. The Buddha, however, offered quite a revolutionary approach. Work with your mind, he said, and you will alleviate all the suffering that seems to come from the outside. Because truly, the problem is never in our circumstances, even if the circumstances surrounding us are horrible. It is always in our reaction, our perception of these circumstances. When something is bothering you, a person, a situation, even physical pain, really it's just a reflection of how you choose to interact with the world. As in the famous saying, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. We actually have a choice here. Of course, it may seem quite far-fetched to somebody who is new to meditation, but those of us who have some experience, we know very well that when life serves us pain, we actually can choose whether to suffer or not. Obviously, this doesn't mean that if someone you love dies, you can choose not to feel grief. Or if you fall down a flight of stairs, you can choose not to get bruised. Of course not. These are examples of pain, and pain is an inevitable part of any human life, just like pleasure is. And through our days, we constantly oscillate between pain and pleasure, just like weather changes from morning to night, from season to season. Suffering, on the other hand, is an energy that we keep alive by continually being dissatisfied with the reality of our human condition. The human condition being the fact that pleasant and unpleasant situations are just part and parcel of life. And even though theoretically we all know the simple fact that pain is inevitable, pleasure is inevitable, those are just facts of life, somehow there is a strong tendency on the part of all living beings to want the pleasant, agreeable, comfortable, secure feelings to be all pervasive, and at the same time to avoid unpleasant, uncomfortable, painful situations at all costs. And this is why people often turn to meditation, to simply feel better. But unfortunately, meditation doesn't work like this. The purpose of meditation has nothing to do with making you feel good, even though eventually with practice you do feel better, but that's more of a side effect actually. The true purpose of meditation is in the opportunity to have an open, compassionate attentiveness to whatever is going on. The meditative space is like the big sky, spacious, vast enough to accommodate anything that arises. In meditation, our thoughts and emotions can become like clouds that dwell and pass away, good and comfortable, pleasing and difficult and painful. All of this just comes and goes. So the true essence of meditation is training in something quite radical. In meditation, we learn to override our instinctual pattern to hide from pain and chase after pleasure. And we learn to simply be with ourselves, no matter what, without any judgment. Just be with ourselves, regardless of the circumstances. So let's explore this together now with a short meditative practice called Clouds in the Sky. As always, take a comfortable position and take a few moments to check in with yourself, to pause for presence, to see where you're at right now. Let your breath be soft and easy, completely natural. Sweep your body with your attention from top to bottom or bottom to top, scanning for various sensations, physical, emotional, mental. What is the strongest experience you're feeling at this very moment? And can you contact this experience non-verbally, without trying to label it in any way? Just get a felt sense of what's happening. And now let's dive into the clouds and the sky exercise. It can be done with your eyes open or closed. If you're outside, you can actually look at the real sky, especially if there are some clouds passing through it now. I would offer you to look at the Manhattan sky through the video, but clouds here don't seem to be moving at all, just kind of stuck. So you can simply close your eyes and imagine that you're looking up at the sky, watching clouds pass by. Gradually start becoming conscious, aware of your thoughts and feelings. And each time a thought pops into your head, imagine placing it on one of the clouds and allowing this thought to float by on top of the cloud. If you think in words or images, place those in a cloud. Let them float by. Or maybe it's colors, textures, concepts, whatever it is. Whatever pops into your mind, put it on a cloud. Let the cloud move on in front of you. The goal here is to continue watching the sky and to allow the clouds to keep moving on. Nothing is stuck. And try not to judge your thoughts in any way. Try not to change what shows up on the clouds. If the clouds disappear or you go somewhere else mentally, just stop, notice this happening, and gently bring yourself back to watching the clouds in the sky. No worries, no problem. You can always begin again. If you have any thoughts or feelings about doing this exercise right now, you can place those on clouds as well. And if you notice that your thoughts stop, there is a gap between them, silence, great. Just watch the sky and the clouds. Sooner or later, your thoughts should start up again. This is the nature of our mind. It is normal and natural to lose track of this exercise, and it will keep happening. When you notice yourself losing track, again, no judgment. Just bring yourself back to watching the clouds and the sky, putting your thoughts on top of the clouds, letting them move along. Let the clouds float at their own pace, placing any thought, feeling, sensation, image that comes to mind on top of a cloud and allowing it to float on by. And now bring your attention back to your breath. Once again, notice the steady rhythm of your breathing that is with you all the time, nurturing, soothing, calming. And bring your awareness back to this moment, to the space you're in right now. If your eyes were closed, gently open them and take in whatever you see in your line of vision. Scan your body once again and notice what's present for you now, physically, emotionally, mentally. And as you go through your day today, I invite you to repeat this clouds and the sky exercise and see if it helps you watch your internal narrative more clearly as it unfolds in front of you in the cloudy sky. See if this in any way helps you to simply be with yourself, without any judgment, without any expectation. Remember that this is the main purpose of meditation, being with yourself, openly, attentively, being with yourself, no matter what. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a gorgeous day, and I will see you tomorrow.